It's a problem every day in all countries. You forget to lock your keys in the car. You lock keys in your car and you're going to the store or something. What if you realized when you got back from the store that your stuff has been stolen? Somebody has smashed and grabbed. It's a problem happening all over the country. So what can be done about it? Here's Chief Investigative Correspondent Lisa Guerrero.
They're called smash and grabs. Burglars busting out car windows, grabbing anything left inside. We wanted to see just how bad this nationwide problem is. So we're using this $250 speaker as bait. And what the thieves don't know is that we're going to be hiding this GPS device inside of it. Our other piece of bait is this Michael Kors purse. We're going to put our tracking device deep inside. And for our last trick, we rigged this car with hidden cameras. There's one here, one back there, and one right here. Then I drove up and parked our bait car at the renowned Alamo Square Park in San Francisco, where tourists flock to take pictures of the famous Painted Ladies Victorian homes. It's a notorious hotspot for thieves. All right, these two are checking out the car. Watch as these Bonnie and Clyde wannabes stroll up and peer inside our car. They wait here for the sidewalk to clear. Then the thief throws up his hood and he tries to bust out the front window with the glass puncher, but it doesn't break. So he goes for the back window and
there he goes, it just broke in.
First, he grabs the purse and tosses it to his female accomplice.
He's got the purse.
Take another look from this nearby surveillance camera. But he's not done yet. He reaches back in and struggles to pull out our big speaker.
Oh, I can't believe this is happening right now.
And just like that, he walks off with it in broad daylight. Wow! Look at this. There's glass everywhere. Time to activate our GPS unit. We're in hot pursuit on the streets of San Francisco, following our stolen items through an app on our phone. Our GPS shows they hopped on this local bus. We took off after them when they got off at a bus stop. The chase is on. He went down there. We finally catch up to them at this subway entrance.
I'm Lisa Guerrero with Inside Edition. You've got my speaker right there. You just broke into our car.
What?
We've got it on camera. You're going to want to give that back.
We follow him as he retreats into the subway.
5 million people are going to see you steal that. So you can choose to give it back or not.
He refuses to give it back.
Stop. You know what? I'm just going to call my mother.
You should call your mother. That is an awesome idea. Can I talk to your mom?
He leaves it on the ground and walks off.
We got our speaker back. Now we have to find the girl.
You may have noticed she fled the opposite way when we first caught up to them. Back up on the gritty streets, we hone in on the GPS signal.
The purse is in this area. Here it is. Purse is in the trash can. And the GPS system is still in it.
This gentleman, who lives in the area and didn't want to be identified, showed us how his nearby security cameras captured our theft.
It all lasted maybe 20 seconds.
And you see this every day.
Every day.
Amazing. While we were in his home, his cameras caught another break-in. Hey, wait a second. That car looks familiar. It's our crew car. Unbelievably, when we were inside conducting the interview, thieves came out here and they broke into our crew truck. Check this out. They broke this window and the back window, and they stole thousands of dollars worth of our equipment, so we actually got hit twice in one day.
Last year, the city of San Francisco experienced 31,000 smash and grab thefts. Less than 2% of them were solved. Insurance experts say it's impossible to 100% prevent smash and grabs, but they recommend taking your valuables with you or hiding them in the trunk.
Agreed. So what else can you do? Well, I'm here to tell you, which is why I call it Cut Me a Break. And this is going to sound weird, number one. This is from securitypro.co.za. Keep valuables, bags, and other items in your boot. Don't fit, like, put some cash in your boot. It may bother your feet, but if you have children, you must enforce a no device rule in the car, ensuring that MP3 players, tablets, cell phones are locked away in the boot or out of sight. Keep your wallet or phone under your chair and out of sight is the best way to prevent smash and grab. Shopping bags, boxes, CDs, and any other items should also be stored in the trunk of the car so as to avoid attracting attention. Smash and grab proof your windows. Keep the windows locked at all times. Avoid box yourself in. You need to stay alert and vigilant. Place cameras in your car. Don't do what Lisa Guerrero did, put a tracker on them. You could do that. But then the police will pull you over saying, someone stole, and then pull you over. You'll be sitting there saying, officer, please let me go. Someone just stole my stuff and I'm tracking it with this GPS. Why didn't you call us first? Because some guy from YouTube told me to do it. Who's this YouTuber? His name's the American Player. He just cut me a break show. Oh, that guy. Also, stay alert and vigilant. So that, stay in vehicle, beware of vendors, beggars, and people standing in intersections. Always keep your car clean, and park in a well-lit and populated areas. If you follow these 8 tips from securitypro.co.za, you will be safe from this. Coming up, how do you stop a smash and grab? I'm going to tell you some advice on preventing smash and grabs to help your valuables not be sold to thieves or vagrants when we return. Well, tonight we're talking about smash and grab. We just saw a piece from Chief Investigative Correspondent Lisa Guerrero on how smash and grab works. Now, how can you stop this? Lock your doors, close the windows when driving. Never open vehicle windows or doors for strangers. Avoid opening your windows and getting involved in discussions with street vendors or anyone handing out flyers. And be constantly looking for suspicious looking characters, meaning vagrants. And you can't be arrested. And if this happens, you will be arrested. In fact, there was one back in March of 2019 where suspects were wanted in a smash and grab at a Family Dollar in Roseburg, which was caught southwest on the freeway. The group may be responsible for other burglaries. This is part of the burglaries. But it is against the law to smash and grab. Chapter 29 is robbery. Chapter 21.1. Section 29.1. Section 29.2. A person commits offenses. Theft. Chapter 21. Aggravated robbery. Document including money. I mean, this is the Texas law from the state. And the sentence for aggravated robbery in Texas is 5 to 99 years. It's considered a 3G offense. You cannot get probation from a judge after a trial. You need to speak with the Fort Worth criminal defense attorney immediately. I mean, it's on robbery. You can be sentenced to 5 to 99 years. 5 years to life in prison. No chance of parole, probation. And to be honest with you, I never got involved in these smash and grabs. So, again, you need to make sure your stuff is protected. If they start to sell your stuff, you can't get it back. They pawn your stuff, you can't get it back. I saw a story years ago, someone who stole a Garth Brooks guitar from a person from a who stole that guitar, stole a Garth Brooks guitar. It looked familiar. And he got it back. So here's the story from 6 years ago from a Garth Brooks fan. Take a look.
Buffalo.
And mind you, no one's ever. Mind you, I play guitar also, but through how many years, no one's ever stolen it. Keep it with you at all times. Put a tracking device on it. Then you'll track it down. Take a look.
It's a Garth Brooks guitar. It's been missing for days. Garth gave it to a fan during his Tulsa concert on Friday, and videos of that exchange quickly went viral.
But when someone took that guitar, that fan called us. It's new at 10.
Take a look.
It was a moment that made Garth Brooks fans scream even louder. It all started when a Special Olympian in the crowd showed the country singer a photograph.
I went down to where, close by the stage, and I hold up my picture.
In this video, you see Garth spot the photo and mouth, "That's in Stillwater." Fans passed down the picture and some of Nathan Putnam's medals to the stage, but it was when Garth unplugged his guitar and passed it up to Nathan that everyone went wild.
I felt so excited. I took it back, and people started high-fiving me and taking pictures, and somebody put it up on YouTube.
That excitement didn't last long.
Sad and mad.
2 days after the concert, Nathan went to a casino with a friend. He kept his prized guitar in the trunk, only to find out it went missing. While we were interviewing Nathan today, his social worker showed up.
Your friend hopped it.
Sold to a pawn shop for $30. We went with Nathan to get it back.
I feel better. Now I just want to get this thing signed and try to go back there.
If you look closely, you can see Garth's marking, a lowercase g, on the inside of the guitar. Now, Nathan's keeping a tight grip, making sure nothing happens to it again.
Well, Nathan says that he actually met Garth about 8 years ago at a Special Olympics event in Stillwater, and that is when they took that photograph that started all of this.
Passed back, yeah.
Yeah, and the great thing is that Garth remembered it after all of those years.
That's
Nathan
really
was
cool.
so excited about it.
Yeah.
And now he just wants to get that guitar signed.
I'm so glad he got it back,
Yeah.
and you know he is keeping that thing under his eye
Of
from now
course,
on, that's
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, he is.
Well, that's a happy ending. But if you're gonna take a guitar with you, you need to make sure that you lock it somewhere safe. If you take your guitar with you, make sure it goes in the trunk. Don't put it in the back seat or the front seat with you. Even while you're don't like driving the car with the guitar in the front seat. Someone can just steal it like that. Put it in the trunk of the car. That way it won't be stolen. And also, you won't be able to be like, and you also won't be like he did and try to get back the guitar from a pawn shop. There's more coming break when we come back. Now on to something very serious. You ever heard of this thing called NXIVM? NXIVM? It's an American coal engagement sex trafficking, forced labor, and racketeering. It's based in Clifton Park, New York, in the suburb. It just means sex trafficking. And I never heard about this till after. Smallville was just a show I loved, and this happened before two Smallville casts did this. We're throwing back to 2013, 2017. But what really got me upset is that two Smallville members, and there's other women who are actresses also who are a part of this. But Keith and Allison were arrested and indicted on federal charges related to DOS, including sex trafficking. Those charged federal crimes 2019. 5 people associated, and the co-founder. I'm not going to go into this. And the history of this was back in 1996, but it was also back in 1998. So what's the difference? It's a 2-year difference. Don't go to this call. Don't talk about it. Don't mention it. And if you're going to watch Smallville, don't mention those 2 people that were a part of this. I mean, look, it's been 20 years since Smallville was on the air. And those 2 finally deserve justice. Avoid the cults. Stay out of the cults. Don't even think about it. Stay away. Don't act like garbage eaters. That's a cult. Don't believe me? Look it up. Alright, now we're going to throw back to the college admission scandal. This happened 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago, there were a bunch of people that did this because they wanted to get their kids over to school. In 2019, scandal rose over criminal conspiracy to influence undergraduate admissions decisions at several top American universities. Investigation into conspiracy was codenamed Operation Varsity Blues. The investigation or related charges will be public in March 2019. That was 2 years ago. But U.S. federal prosecutors, at least 53 people have been charged as part of this conspiracy, a number of whom pled guilty or agreed to plead guilty. 33 parents of college applicants are accused of paying more than $25 million between 2011 and 2018 to William Rixinger, organizer of the scheme, who used to part money to fraudulently inflate entrance exams, test scores, and bribe college officials. That's bribery. This was all happening in the FBI. I mean, the sentencing. And look, the Insider.com has made a full list of this. Lloyd Hoffman was like one of them. Sentencing's still ongoing. We have the leader of this was Rick Singer. We also had the former Stanford University sailing coach John Hill. He's sentenced to 1 day in prison. We have Felicity Huffman, 14 days in jail. We have a parent who's sentenced to 4 months in jail. Steven Sapir was sentenced to 4 months in jail. Gordon Kaplan was sentenced to a month in jail. August Higgins Jr. was sentenced to 5 months in prison. Both parents, Gregory and Marissa Abbott, were each sentenced to a month in prison. Peter Sotaro was sentenced to a year probation. Well, it has been a year since his probation, and he was ordered to pay a $5,500 fine for paying $15,000 to have his daughter's ACT scores corrected. Marjolaine Clapper was sentenced to 3 weeks in prison. And she was also, all these people had to pay $9,500 for this. Even Robert Flaxman sentenced to a month in prison and paid a $40,000 fine and paid $75,000 to factor feed answers to his daughter during a 2016 ACT exam. Not going to happen. That's cheating. There's also one. It's also Jane Buckham. She's sentenced to 3 weeks in prison in order to pay a $40,000 fine. Jeffrey Bellick, 2 months in prison, $250,000 fine. That's $250,000. Tory McFarlane, 6 months in prison. 200 hours community service, pay $150,000 fine. He paid $450,000 to secure his son's admissions. Douglas Hodge sentenced to 9 months in prison. 500 hours community service and pay a $750,000 fine and pay more $500,000 in bribes between 2013 and 2015. The Austin tennis coach said 6 months in prison, $20,000, $460,000, and fined $20,000. Michelle James, 5 months in prison, $250,000 fine, paying $300,000 for all this. And the list just goes on. Elizabeth Heyman sentenced to 7 months in prison, $450,000 in a scheme, a $200,000 fine, and conduct 300 hours community service. All these people had to pay over $9,500 or could be community service, but all these people, I think after 2 years, I don't think they learned their lesson. What needs to happen here, they better not do this again. If this happens again, we're going to go back. This has been 2 years. This has been 2 years since this incident happened. And we're about to go into 3 years of this. And on the 3rd anniversary of this, I'll do an update episode on it and recap to you and do a half-hour special on this. We're back after this. Here's what we got coming up for you tomorrow on Cut Me a Break Monday. How to prevent theft from happening as holiday shopping starts to increase. Maybe getting those presents for your child, but theft starts to rise. CCPD is going to provide safety tips on how to prevent theft this holiday. Then Tuesday, that's what we're going to spend a half hour doing. But that's what we have for you coming up on Monday. We'll have something else coming up on. Then Tuesday we're gonna talk about a COVID vaccination clinic in CCISD. That's Tuesday. Wednesday when it's Thanksgiving Eve, we're gonna have a special Thanksgiving show prior to this on what you can do to help Thanksgiving. Thursday, we're off. Friday, we're going to have a Black Friday special on how you can protect yourself from crowds during Black Friday. How to prevent fights from happening. That's all this week. That's all position to Cut Me a Break Sunday. We'll see you again tomorrow for Cut Me a Break Monday. Good night, everyone.